Hi, Namaskar. Good morning, evening, depending upon which part of the world you are in while watching this video. This is Krishan from cloudkrishan.com. I did masters in computer science and carrying 20 plus year of experience in IT industry. Hope you and your family are doing great while watching this video. Let's get started. So today agenda of video is to understand what are cloud deployment models. So there are different cloud deployment models. So we will talk about each of them. Then every cloud deployment model in detail. We will go in the detail to understand each of the cloud deployment model, and then we will also touch upon what are the advantage and disadvantage of each cloud deployment model. Now there are deployment models. Let's say we we will start with advantage disadvantage of each model. Let's start one by one. First one is public cloud. But before going to public cloud, let's understand what is cloud deployment model. So cloud deployment model identify the specific type of cloud based on what are the based on ownership, scale, and access, as well as cloud nature and purpose. The location of servers you are utilizing and who control them are defined by a cloud deployment model. So there are some keywords, which define cloud deployment model. We segregate those keywords are ownership. So who own that cloud? Scale, what is the scalability of that cloud? Access, who can access that cloud? And control, who can control that cloud. So based upon few of these world, we there are different type of cloud deployment model. We will go one by one. So first, deployment in the first deployment model, it is public cloud. Now what is public cloud? So public cloud make it possible for anybody means anybody to access systems and services. It is type of cloud hosting that allow customers and user to easily access and services. So this is public cloud is accessible. As we can see, word public, it means this type of cloud is accessible to anybody, right? And anybody can use the services hosted in that type of cloud. Now what are the advantage of public cloud, right? That's the next question. Why should I go for the public cloud? So the first of all, because this is public cloud, this is already set up, already managed, well tested. So the investment is minimum, right? So the first keyword, let me take those notes in the notepad, right? So that they are recorded. So let's talk about the advantage. So first advantage of public cloud is minimal investment, right? So public cloud, you need minimal investment. Why you need money minimum investment? Because this is pay as you go. So there is a model in public cloud deployment. Either you go for AWS or you go to Microsoft Cloud. Any cloud, there's a model called pay per use. So totally depend how much you use, you will be charged for it. There's no fixed cost, right? It's completely depend the way the amount you use it. The second benefit advantage, we can say no setup cost, right? No setup cost. Why no setup cost? Because this is already set up by cloud service providers. In the last video, we talk about cloud service providers. So there's a Microsoft Azure is one of the cloud service provider. AWS, Amazon Web Service, GCP, IBM, Oracle. There are multiple cloud service providers. So they had already set up that cloud. So there's no setup cost for you. You just create your account and start using it. Entire infrastructure is fully set up there, right? The third benefit we can talk about is infrastructure management. So in infrastructure management. So because this is a public cloud, you don't have to worry about infrastructure management. Infrastructure is completely managed by cloud service providers, right? Whomever you are using. If you are using Microsoft Cloud, Microsoft Azure, then Microsoft manage and take care all the infrastructures. You need not to worry. Next benefit we can think of no maintenance, right? If you are using public cloud, you need not to worry about the maintenance. Maintenance is taken care by cloud service provider. Now, because it's a huge number of data centers and clusters there, is scalability is, I mean, you need not to worry about the scalability. So we can say this is dynamically scalable. Why we say dynamic scalable? S- Why we say dynamic scalable? Because based upon the configuration, the number of assays will increase for your, let's say you deploy a web application, right? And you configure it dynamic scalable. So number of use, number of memory consumed, number of computing power is consumed. It will keep increasing your computing power, your VMs, and your memory. When your assays decrease, it decrease your resources. So this is dynamic scalable, right? Now, because there are so many benefit of it, of course there are some disadvantages of public cloud. Let me write here public, cause public deployment. I'm writing here so that you can take notes if you need it. Uh, Disadvantage, right? So these are the disadvantages. Disadvantage we can consider, first of all, less secure, because little bit security issues can be. By the way, I never heard that cloud has security issues, but still, because this is publicly available to anybody to use, there may be some security issues, right? Because you don't control it; it is controlled by the provider. You just use it, right? Uh, the second disadvantage we can because this is public, right? So it's a low customization. So low customization is because this public cloud is set up, to keep all the use cases in mind. So it is not customizable as per you. This is well defined structure is there. You have to fit your requirement and your need based upon your requirement, right? So you cannot customize it. Now, second type of deployment is uh, private, or we also call it internal, internal cloud deployment model. So private is actually just opposite to public deployment model, as you can understand. So let me write here private deployment model, right? You also call it internal deployment model. Okay. Now, what exactly it is exactly opposite of public cloud. First of all, it is one and one environment for single user customer, right? So if your organization has your own cloud, which we call internal private cloud, this is one and one, right? There's no sharing of hardware. In public cloud, it was sharing of hardware among the customers who were using it, but privately is not shared with anybody. This is private to the organization who set up it. you know uh, so let's talk about the advantage first. What are the advantage of private cloud? Advantages. So in advantage we can consider, first of all, right, which was the disadvantage of public cloud. It was battle control, right? Because this is your private cloud, right? You set up it, you take care for it, you install it, right? You decide everything about what you want to have, what you don't want to have. So we can say, okay, the better control. So private cloud basically provide us better control. The second, the advantage we can consider is data security. Why? And privacy. Because this is behind the firewall, right? This is your organization specific. This is not exposed outside of your organization. So it has the better data and privacy security. It is suitable for storing it is secure corporate information to which only authorized staff has access. So if you have the information which only authorized or you people of that organization should able to access it, then this best fit for you because this is more secure because you control the security of it, right? Now, third one we can consider is support legacy system because that's another thing because public cloud keep upgrading for the latest technology, right? So third advantage we can consider is support legacy. If you have some legacy system, oh, I'm sorry, CPP support legacy systems. Why I'm saying support legacy system? What does it mean? Let's say you have a software which is not compatible to latest version of the Windows if you are using Windows operating system. So you can keep and you need the old operating system which Microsoft may not be supporting. So what you can do it if you have the public cloud, you can maintain that legacy system, legacy operating system, and you still keep running your software if it does not support the latest one. So we say this is the benefit of the cloud private deployment model. It support legacy systems. Now, fourth benefit we can consider is customizable, right? Because you control it, you set up it, so right, Jason. So you can customize it because you have the control of it, right? Now let's consider disadvantage. What can be the disadvantage? Because there are so many advantages. So in disadvantage, it it's just disadvantage we can consider less scalable because there's a limit, right? Number of cluster or number of data centers and number of servers you can have. There's a limit because this you set up for only one organization, right? So this is not as scalable as public cloud is a lot of scalable, right? I never see, it never said, no, you cannot create more VMs or you cannot create more VNet, right? You can just create as many as you want. So it's a it can be limited by account, it can be limited by resource group, it can be limited by subscription, but you can have multiple account, you can have multiple subscriptions, you can have multiple resources, right? Resource groups. So uh, but this private cloud has low scalable, less scalable, right? Yes. So, and the second disadvantage we can consider is costly. Why it is costly? Because you set up for your own organization only, right? You don't share it with anybody. There's no sharing of the resources, right? Private cloud, resources are not shared. Even they are being used or they are not being used, does not matter. If you have, because you always set up it based upon your highest load you can have. Okay, so that's all about private or internal cloud. The third type of deployment model is hybrid, right? Hybrid deployment model. So as name suggests, hybrid. So what does it mean by the hybrid? You can take benefit of public and private both, right? So let me write it. Hybrid, here you can take benefit of both. This is type of, you can say it's a bridge between private and public. You know, it's a bridge. It is bridge between private and public. So you can take some advantage of private or some advantage of public, right? And same time, because they are the advantages, there will be some disadvantage of both of them. So let's discuss those one by one. First of all, I hope this is clear. So this is like public and private cloud, you can take advantage of both. As we said, organization move data between public and private. The best example of hybrid cloud I can give you, let's say there's a banking system, right? The data is very important. They don't want to share the data with anybody, or they don't want to put the data on public cloud. So what they can do is they can have their data on private, and then they can host their application, the banking system in the public, so that anybody in the world can access, right, their banking services. So that's probably the best example to have the hybrid cloud. Now, what are the advantages of hybrid cloud? Advantages, we can list down the advantages like this. The first one is flexibility, right? Is flexibility and control, as we said, right? Flexibility and control. So flexibility and control was advantage and disadvantage. In private cloud, you were having the very good control because you set up it, but in public cloud, you were not having very much control, right? Because that is controlled by cloud service provider. But here in hybrid cloud, this is benefit, right? Because private data you can consider. Same the flexibility, right? In public cloud you have flexibility, but sorry, in private cloud you have the flexibility, but public you don't have. You have to live with what services they provide, right? You cannot control it. Businesses with more flexibility can design, personalized solution that meet their particular need. So that's the flexibility and control. Now the second benefit is we can consider cost, right? Because public cloud provide scalability, you will only be responsible of paying the extra capability if you require it, right? So the cost is less because you are taking the benefit of public cloud, and you pay what whatever you are using. It's not like you have to pay or you have to reserve the payment. As much as you pay, you can opt for pay as you go subscription. Now the third benefit we can consider is security, right? Security, because you are using private cloud, as we took the example, having the banking system where data can be in the private cloud and you can deploy a application in public. So you take benefit of both. So data is secure because that is in private cloud. Now because there's the advantage, there are few disadvantages as well. Disadvantages, right? So disadvantages are like we can consider difficult to manage. Why? There's a one of the disadvantages, right? Difficult to manage. And why we are saying difficult to manage? Because you are reaching both, right? Now you have to manage both. You have to manage public and you have to manage private. So you have some management overhead, right? You have to have the better planning. You have to have the better control. You have to have the better monitoring, right? So it's a little bit, difficult to manage, and it is complex as well because now two clouds are, involved to manage your systems or manage your data. Now the second disadvantage we can talk about is slow data transmitter me, because everything, if everything is in public or everything is in private, the data transmission will be high because they are sitting near to each other. But if you are talking about the hybrid, then data may be moving and transmitting from private to public and public to private. So it's a low latency, right? It's a latency issue or data speed issue, so it can be little bit of slow. Okay, that's it about hybrid. Let's talk about the next one. Next is community cloud, right? Community cloud. First of all, what is community cloud? Uh, Community cloud allows systems and services to be accessible by a group of organization, right? So some group of organization come together and set up a community cloud, right? It is created by integrating the service of different clouds to address the specific need of community, industry or business, right? It is generally managed by third party or group of organization and community. So community cloud is nothing. It is when multiple organizations or industries, or businesses come together and set up one cloud. We call it community cloud. Okay, let's talk about the advantage of community cloud. Advantages. The first advantage is cost effective, right? Because there are the multiple industry or businesses are involved. It is cost effective because it is shared by multiple organization or committees, right? Whoever are involved in it. So this is cost effective if we do the comparison between private or hybrid cloud. Now second benefit we can consider is security, right? Why security? Community cloud provide better security because this is managed by expert, and it is type of combination between the among the multiple clouds, right? The third benefit we can consider is shared resources, because this is set up for the use by multiple business and industry. So resources are shared, right? It allow you to share resources, infrastructure with multiple organization, because whoever are involved to set up this type of cloud, right? The fourth benefit we can consider is collaboration uh, and data sharing, right? because this is set it is suitable for both collaboration and data sharing. Why? Because multiple organization and businesses set up it together, because there are some advantage, there are disadvantages as well, right? Disadvantage. Now what are the disadvantages? The first disadvantage we can consider is limited scalability, as it is not private, by the way, it's a type of private, right? Multiple business or business organizations set up this type of cloud, so you have a limited scalability is there. It's not like public cloud. Now rigid in customization. Why it is rigid in customization? Right, you don't have rigid in you don't have customization feature or customization liberty like private cloud, because privately managed by your organization or the business, whoever set up it, they have all the right to customize it, because community cloud is for multiple businesses and multiple organizations, so there's a limit, rigid customization. Because if you try to do some customization for you, which is best fit for your organization, that may not fit for the other organization, so they will not allow it. Now let's, I think that's it for community cloud. Let's go to the next. Next is multi cloud. This is very interesting, guys. Multi cloud, right? What are the what is multi cloud, first of all? So this is like employing multiple cloud providers at the same time. So if you set up your cloud, if you use multiple cloud, when I say multiple cloud means use Microsoft Azure, AW, some services from AWS, some services from GCP. So this type of setup is called multi cloud, right? This is like hybrid cloud. But all public cloud providers provide numerous tools to improve the reliability of their services. You know, it is quite rare that two distinct clouds would have an incident at the same moment. Let's say because one cloud may down by any region, but if you are using multiple cloud, if you are using multi-cloud, the the availability of services will be very, very, very high, because there's a very, very, very minimum a possibility to goes all the clouds down at the same time. Let's talk about the advantages. Some of the advantages of multi-cloud. The first advantage you can consider is you can mix and match, right? This is mix and match of the services from the different providers, so that your availability is very high. You use the best services of each of them, right? Best features of each cloud providers, which suit for your demand, your workload, your business, etc. Now the second biggest advantage or benefit of multi-cloud is redundancy. you know Redundancy, and it reduce, like you can redundant your data between among the clouds, and then availability will be very high. uh, it reduce, it's high availability, as we already talked about, right? High availability. High availability. So high availability is something because there's a very, very low probability that all the cloud will goes down at the same time. So we say this is highly available. Multi-cloud is available because there are so many of benefit advantages. Let's talk about few disadvantages as well. Okay, disadvantages. So the first disadvantage is something like hybrid, because this is complex, right? Now you need to have skills uh, for all the clouds you are using. So if you are using Azure, AWS, and GCP, you need three people, or you need a person who has understanding and very good in all three cloud. It's very hard to find such people who are the expert on all the cloud, right? So the combination of many clouds make the system complex, and bottleneck may occur, right? So that's the one of the disadvantage. And then security issue, right? There can be security issue. Uh, Security issue, there can be security issue due to complex structure, because you are using multiple cloud. There may be loopholes to which a hacker can take advantage, hence make his data insecure, right? So these are some of the disadvantages of having multi-cloud, guys. So I think that's it for it. uh, we have there are multiple deployment model, And we talk about most of them public cloud. We talk about publicly available to everybody. There are some advantage of public cloud because you don't have to set up anything. You just plug it. This is like plug and play, right? You create your account and you start using it. The second one is private or internet cloud we talk about. This is set up for a particular organization. The benefit is your data is more secure, but the disadvantage maybe the cost. It's not cost effective. Resources are not shared, right? Infrastructure is not shared. The hybrid cloud is combination of, or we can say, it's a bridge between the private and public. If you use both together, that's the hybrid cloud. And the example we took is the banking system where the data is should be more secure. They don't want to put the data on the public cloud. So what they do, they keep data on the private, and they put your application, install their application in public cloud. So that's the hybrid cloud arrangement. County cloud, when multiple businesses, industries, community come together and set up a cloud, we call it community cloud, right? We talk about the benefit because sharing of resources is there, but we also talk about the disadvantage because this is, it's not that flexible as public or private because you cannot make any change for your organization. All the organization, all the businesses, all the industries who are participating in community cloud, they should agree, right? Every change may not fit for them, which may fit for you. So that's the disadvantage of community cloud. Then last one, and this is multi-cloud. There's a benefit because benefit is a high availability and use the best feature of each cloud. But the disadvantage is management become quite complex because you need expertise in all type of cloud you are using. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this video met your expectations. Please let me know your feedback in comment section so that I can do better job next time. If you like the video, uh, I would request you to please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon, so that you keep receiving update on the new topic. Thank you very much for watching this video. Talk to you later. Thank you.